Hi friends! This is my first YouTube video and I'm going to share with you about something that many of you have asked me about or commented on when you were at our house. It's our pantry. Specifically, I'll share how I keep it so organized and decluttered and why it's so important. For me, it goes well beyond just a beautiful space. I find that an organized pantry makes cooking a lot faster. I can find the items I need and put them back in their places, and I can take a quick glance at the pantry and know exactly what items I need to buy at the store. So for me, it's all about function and efficiency. Let's go take a look. So here it is. As you can see, it's a lot of space, but it's far from a walk-in pantry. What I want to avoid is having items fall way in the back and losing track of them altogether. I generally follow 3 steps to organizing the pantry and pretty much any other space in the house. Step number 1, decide what belongs. This is the key for any area that you want to organize. You have to know exactly what goes in there. And for the pantry, it's pretty simple actually. You likely go through a rotation of the same meals and you know what you already buy pretty often at the store. For us, as a vegan and mostly gluten-free family, our staples include things like oatmeal, nuts, seeds, beans, and legumes. And of course, for me being Russian, I eat a lot of grechka. So we also eat snacks and chips and other dried fruits and things like that, like most of you. All of those things go in the pantry. So now that we know what goes in there, let's organize it. Step 2 is to create dedicated spaces. This is probably my favorite part. I love taking things out of drawers, sorting similar items together, and getting rid of what I don't need. What I mostly use for the pantry are mason jars, lids, a label maker, and a few bins or baskets. The most practical mason jars to use are quart-sized, wide mouth opening jars, and they cost about $1. And the label maker I use was $35. Some of you know my obsession with the label maker. I use it pretty much everywhere in the house, from spice jars to my daughter's clothing drawers. But you certainly don't need one. You can use anything like adhesive paper or just regular paper with tape works just fine. When I first started with all of this, I used adhesive chalk paper and chalk markers to create my own labels. I even used special patterned scissors to create fancy edges, and I love doing it. At this stage, I am not really interested in designing my own labels. I just want everything to look consistent and I want it done quickly. For our family, most shelf-stable items that we buy at the grocery store go immediately into a mason jar and the packaging is discarded. This way we don't have random bags of nuts or rice floating around. And of course, this only applies for items that we eat constantly. So if I try out something new like amaranth, I'll keep it in the packaging until we use it all up. For this example, like amaranth or any other random or varied foods that you buy, you still want a dedicated space that keeps everything organized and your staple items don't get overrun by the miscellaneous items that you are trying out. I have every mason jar labeled on top of the lid. It's easy to reach for the right item and you see when something is running low. And here's a little tip for you. Use a dry erase marker to put a little dot on the label if you have more of that particular item. So here, for example, I know that I have more raisins in the pantry. The entire bag just didn't fit in there. So when I need more, I'll go find that extra bag. And if I use up my backup raisins, I'll just erase the dot, and next time I see that we're running low, I'll add it to the grocery list. And finally, step 3, reassess as needed. I think this last step is really important to keep in mind and set your expectations. You don't just organize once and then you're done forever. Your space should evolve with your family's needs, so just be open and ready for that. Maybe your diet preferences changed or you have an addition to the family. It all takes a little bit of revamping to make sure your space remains organized and functional for your needs. I remember when our daughter was born, we had an entire kitchen cabinet dedicated to bottles, a baby food maker, and other baby things. And 2 years later, I was finally able to clear all that out and replace it with fun baking items and tools that we now use together. To me, since everything is already pretty well stored, any reorganization doesn't really take that long, and I find that it's actually really enjoyable. Here's a closer look at our pantry and how we keep everything organized, just to give you some ideas. That's all for today. I hope you found this useful, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Please leave it in the comments below. Bye for now.